What it do, fool? My name is Trenton Steele, aka Fatherrdiff. I'm a bag out. Right there, so you can follow me on Instagram at Fatherrdiff. And if you haven't subscribed, put that right there so y'all can go to subscribe to me because I really appreciate that. All right, so today I want to talk to you guys about field light. Now, to understand field light, you have to kind of have an understanding of key light. Okay, so key light is the main source of light that many photographers and cinematographers use to determine the tone or feel of a image or video. Okay, so it's pretty much one of the most important lights that a photographer or cinematographer will use. Majority of the time, the key light is placed in front of the subject at an angle. So wherever it's placed, that's what it's going to light. My key light is right here at an angle of me, I say about maybe 50, 60 degrees. I guess you would say, I don't know my degrees that good. But my key light is coming from an Aperture 300D with the Aperture dome on it, light dome on it, and that is my key light. As you can tell by my face, that I have a little bit of a shadow on this side of the face. Now, this is where the field light comes into place, okay? The field light is any light source that fills in the darkness or shadows on the subject. Boom, there it is. That's where the field comes into place, field light. Now, because it is field light, it needs to be less bright than the key light so that you don't overwash or overexpose the detail of your subject. All right, a couple ways you can add a field light is with a flash, a continuous light, strobe light, or reflector. Those are just a few ways you can add in field light, okay? Normally, this light is placed on the opposite side of the key light. To do that, you have to put it with this being right here on my left side. I have the shadow on my right side. So therefore, the field light is going to be on my right side. That's what it's filling in right there, all right? Now, once I turn back on the continuous light, we get that, all right? So, just show you what it's like. All right, now, I have a few examples lined up for this so you can better understand it. The first picture that I want to look at is a picture of Andrea. She was nice enough to come put up with me in the studio and just help me figure out all this. So special shout out to Andrea. This first one is lit with just a continuous light, which is the key light. Just the key light, okay? As you can tell, we have shadows. Now those shadows are on the chin right there. That comes from it being just one light source. So this is also up at an angle, pointed down at her to where that shows. And we have just a little bit right there, all right? So this next one, which is what I use as a field light, which is the Godox 400D. This is just strictly with that field light, but in this case, I guess you could call it a key light, but I'm just showing you where the field light is, okay? So this field light is placed directly, I'd say, at her, just a little bit over eye level, not up, but just a little bit at her eye level. And as you can tell, the detail is a little bit overexposed, but not really. We're kind of creating this really, really bright feel on there. This is a strobe light. So strobe lights are a little bit or way more powerful than continuous lights because it's a sudden burst of light. If we go to this next one, we're back to the continuous light, which is the key light, and we have it placed at an angle to where we feel all of her left side and just a little bit of light creeps through to her eye. Now, I don't know if you know or if you've noticed, but your face has a little bit of an indent right there. I guess most faces would. I don't know if you don't. I'm not trying to offend you. I don't know. But you have this little indent right there, and I put it to where just enough light would cross that and hit her eye. So that way it's not just half of her face filled. All right, for this next one, we have a very, very close up picture, which is a true headshot. All of these pictures were taken with the Canon 5D Mark IV on a 100mm macro lens, all right? Now, back to the picture. If you notice with this one, there's something a little bit different. Yes, the left side of her face is still lit, but not only is her eye lit, but we have this triangle right under her eye, which is called Rembrandt. Rembrandt lighting is what they use in Hollywood to create a serious tone or dramatic tone for photography or film, okay? As we go to the next image, you can tell that there is a fill light introduced. Now, with this fill light, you can see that the right side of her face is lit. Now, you can see more detail on the right side of her face, and this was placed at an angle up above to where it was shining directly on her. I have a grid on my light dome. I am using the Light Dome Mini 2 by Aperture, and it's a smaller dome, so therefore that light is focused on her face with that grid. You see majority of her face on her left side is lit, but you still see the shadows because of it being at an angle. Now we're gonna do that again. We're gonna bag out some, and we're going to move this light just a little bit more off from the side of her, but a little bit more to the front. We're still focusing on the right side of her face where the shadows are, okay? And we still have it up. Now, a quick cheat, or if you wanna know how somebody took that picture and how many lights they use, what you can do is you can zoom in on that picture and look at their eyes. You should see 2 light reflectors in there, or 3 or 4, and you can tell how many was used, or if it's a line, you can tell what kind of light dome they used. That's just something to keep in mind if you're curious as to how somebody took that picture. Again, this was to the right of her. This is waist up, so I wanted to light pretty much her whole torso and that face right there. Now for the next one, we have another headshot, and we moved the light just a little bit more further. You can see it in her eyes. So it's now, I'd say right there, her cheekbone. It fills in all those shadows that were normally there before. They're gone. On the right side of her face, we filled in those shadows, but we still have the chin right there. We can still see the structure of the chin, and it looks more realistic and less flat than it would be with just placing that light in front. And for this last one, same thing, just a little bit evened out, and we still have the shadows coming from her hair. We still have the shadow up under her chin, and to me, this one looks amazing. Again, you can also zoom in on the eye and kind of tell where I placed the lights, and this just looks perfect. I hope these explanations and these examples helped you understand what a fill light is and how important it is. There are plenty of ways you can play around with this fill light. There's no set, way to do it, but just understand that the fill light is used to fill in those shadows. You can do it any way you want to. If there are any ways that you feel that I have missed, be sure to comment that below. Let's talk about it. Go ahead and follow me on Instagram. You can chop it up there in the comment section or in the DMs. I like to know. And if you'd like to see me explain furthermore what a key light is, I'd be glad to do that. Comment that below. And most of all, be sure to like, share, and subscribe, right there. So yeah, I really appreciate you guys. And until next time, I am out.